Hey, so today I want to show you guys how to do a simple pose in ZBrush. So I've got my Godzilla to the point where I'm pretty much considering him done. And I'm going to throw in the sketch material real quick so you guys can see some of the detail. But I went in and hand sculpted pretty much all the scales. I just felt the other look wasn't quite doing it for me, so I spent the time to go in and do all this extra work on the skin, and I think it was worth it. But now it's ready to be posed. So the first thing that you want to do is just in your subtool palette, just drop all the subtools to low, and then we're going to come up here to Z plugin and Transpose Master. We're just going to click T pose mesh, and we're just letting ZBrush do its thing. If you do it in the high subtool subdivision level, it'll take a lot longer. That's why I dropped it down to all low. So he's already ready to be posed, and it showed a message that said when you're done to click T pose subtool. Okay, so let's get started. First, I don't like the way his hands are kind of facing out this way. I think they should be facing more in this way just to look a little more aggressive. So I'm gonna switch my mask to mask lasso and just make a selection around here. And then if you control click on the model, it softens the mask. And then I'm gonna click on move so that I can adjust it. And what I like to do is use this little gizmo to just uh, change how things are oriented. So if you click Alt, it will unlock this, and you can also do it just by clicking on it, but it's easier if you just use the Alt button. And then I'll just move the gizmo to the arm. And I also like to orient the gizmo as if it was like the bone or the joint. So now I'm going to control click outside, so I have control of just this uh, arm rather than the whole body. And we can just start kind of changing the way that looks. And it looks like something is wrong here, so I'm going to just undo that. Looks like something was, let's see, yeah, something was masked there. So I'm just trying to turn this arm in a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. Can maybe bring it up a little. And then I'm going to clear that mask, and I'm going to draw one around the hand and just do the same thing. Actually, I might want to make that a little bit bigger. And then we're going to do the same thing with the gizmo, just bring it down to the hand. And I'm going to control click outside. Okay, that's looking better. A combination of moving the arm and the hand to get that in the right spot. Let's do the same thing with the other arm. This This arm we probably actually want to move so it's not symmetrical, so let's do something here around the shoulder and Control Alt to deselect areas that you don't want. And then again Alt to move the gizmo. And let's soften that a bit and then invert it. And we can kind of just move his, maybe have this shoulder up a little bit higher and this arm reaching forward a little bit. And let's clear that. Now let's do the same thing we did with the other arm, just turn it in a little. And then I'm going to do the hand again. So I think I need to turn the arm a bit more. Oh, and one problem is that I didn't move the gizmo. So yeah, we're gonna want to do that, but I actually do think I want to turn the arm in a little bit more as well. That way. Maybe not quite so much. There we go. This should work better. Yeah, so that's already better. Alright, so let's clear this. Zoom out a bit so we can see what we're working with here. Might want to actually bring this arm up a little bit. That one looks a little bit too far out compared to the other one. Just raise that up a little bit, bring it out a little bit. Oh, we had that problem with the finger again. So I'm just Control Alt selecting to deselect part of that mask. Alright, now let's see here. Yeah, it looks a little bit better. Looks like something might have gotten weird with the finger. There. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for the arms. You can do the same things with the fingers, but I'm going to skip the fingers for now just to make this video a little bit quicker. And then next thing we want to do is, I don't want him to be in such an upright position. I want him to be leaning a little bit. So I'm just going to select around his legs here. And might want to get a little bit more there. And then, oops, from the front, I'm going to deselect in his groin area. There you go. And then we're going to just soften that. Let's see. I'm going to move the gizmo to where his hips would be. Just straighten it out a bit. And I'm going to make him lean forward a bit. Now, we can also kind of, you can see some things are starting to crunch a little bit. So you can kind of pull it back up with the move to keep it from getting too crunched. I think that's a pretty good lean, maybe a little less. And then let's make one leg back and one leg forward. So we're just going to want to, oops, that's not what I meant to do. A little bit more of the leg there, and let's deselect the hand. I got some of the hand. Let's deselect some here in the crotch. And then just soften that mask again. I want this foot to be going back a little. And then we have to turn his foot. And we want both feet. Let's turn on the floor so we can see where the floor is. And we want both feet to be on the floor. Okay. And then let's make the other leg forward a little. Oops. Soften that mask a bit. Let's make this leg coming forward a little. I kind of don't want this area, I kind of don't want this area to move too much. Although, actually, I think it does look better stretching. Okay, so let's leave it like that. Maybe pull the whole leg down a little bit. And clear that mask. Now let's do this foot. And again, I'm just going to zoom in and make sure everything looks like it's on the floor. Looks like I need to flatten his feet a little bit, but this at least is pretty good for now. You probably want to double check that it's really nice and flat down there. So he's already in a much better pose, but his head still looks a little funny. The tail's looking a little funny. Let's see. I want to straighten this thing out a little bit. All I want to do with this is just rotate it. Oh, kind of just want it to be a little straighter like that. Okay, and then I think his tail should probably not be totally symmetrical either. So let's turn his tail just a little bit. Not too much, just so that it's not exactly straight. And then we'll probably do a little bit more down here. So you could go either way. You could have this, see how it looks from the front. So you could have it kind of swinging more this way or a little this way. I think I might make it go this way a little bit. Could maybe even rotate it slightly like that. Okay, but that way at least it's not, if you do a turntable or something, his tail's moving a little bit. Looks like we could probably fix that shape a little bit, but I think for right now I'm just going to leave it and move on to the head. Alright, so I want him to be looking up. I don't want his head to really be affected though, just the neck. Alright, I need the gizmo. Alright, so let's just raise his head. Now once I kind of get to raise it like this, and then I'm going to actually, that spike's moving a little too much, so there you go. Alright, and the other thing I want to do is just tilt it a little so that he's not looking completely straight. Give it a little bit of a tilt. You could go this way, you could go that way, but I'm thinking, yeah, that looks good. Alright, so this is the basic pose. So let's just deselect all our masks. And you can come back in and tweak it even more once it's been transposed. But the next step, once you're done with that, is to come into Z plugin again and hit T-Pose subtool. And now what ZBrush is doing is basically going through and applying what you just did to all your actual subtools. So you gotta let it just do its thing. You can kind of see it grabbing each little subtool there. Okay, so the transfer of pose is completed. It took 29 seconds. That's not too bad. So there he is posed, and now let's go save as. I like to save right away after a pose because sometimes my computer might crash or something and I just don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to save this. This is just an extra one, so I'm just going to save it as. Godzilla pose for video and hit OK. And then once it's saved, we can come into Subtool, click All High, and we can take a look at them. Okay, that took a little while. So there he is, posed. And I like to come in and look at his joints. Yeah, make sure nothing got like crunched or squished. So like right here looks a little weird. Let's see anywhere else. Honestly, everything else came out pretty clean. Yeah, I don't really see too many problems except for right here. So what we're going to do for that is I'm going to just come on my geometry and drop the subdivs to like 4. And I'm going to solo this, and I'm going to hit Shift Control to just hide everything that I'm not working on. Might raise this up to like a 5 second, see a little bit more. But basically what we want to do here is just de-stretch this. So I'm going to use the move tool, BMT, and I'm just going to make my draw size a little bit bigger and kind of like de-stretch that stretched area. So that looks a little bit better. The other thing that you can do is you can resculpt certain parts. So like if this just still doesn't look perfect and you're not happy with like a subtle stretch look, you could come back in with your clay buildup and your, dam standard and whatnot and just kind of fix this a little. But just for the sake of this video, I'm going to wrap it up here. And yeah, that is how to pose in ZBrush. Now there also is the ability to pose using Z-spheres, and I can do that in another video. For some reason it kept crashing out with this particular Z tool, so I decided to pose using this method. But maybe on one of the next creatures, if I pose that way, I will show you guys. And if you guys like these videos, give me a like, a comment, subscribe, and check out thecreaturecreator.com and check me out, Creature Creator, on Instagram. Alright guys, hope you have a good day.